This is episode 89 of Art Talk. And today I have a conversation with Louise Fowler. Fowler? Fowler?
Fowler. Yep, that's
Fowler.
Fowler.
And Louise is an oil painter based in Cornwall, but she's also a musician. So I really wanted to have a chat with her. Welcome, Louise. I'm really happy that finally I have you on as my guest today.
Hi, yeah, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? But we got here.
Yeah, you got here. So I want to start with a quote. I often do this. And this one is, again, one of my favorite painters, Leonardo da Vinci. And he says, the eye is the window of the soul, the prince of our senses. And I have, well, princess of our senses, maybe. But anyways, since you paint and have painted numerous eyes, especially in close-up, can you relate to the quote?
I can, yeah, I can. And it is as well. It's the focal point of any portrait, anything I do, it's straight to the eye, straight to the eye first. It leads the painting, really.
It leads the
For
painting.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But you also have eye, solely eyes,
Yeah.
huge eyes. Well, they
Yeah.
look
So
huge.
yes. So after I painted to do portraits, and then I thought, well, I'm really interested in the eye. So I want to get into it. I want to get closer, I want to get bigger. And I did, and I really enjoyed it. And I made them really colourful and big and
Mhm.
bright, and I just did it for me, and I absolutely love doing it.
Yeah, I love eyes too. They're very special. They tell
Yeah,
you something. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe that's a thing with portrait painters, but I mean, what do you love eyes in real life? Do you like look at people's eyes in real life? Is
Yes,
that
I
in
do. To be
conversation?
honest,
Yeah,
yeah, I always look into their eyes, but I often see when I do, people tend to look away. They're not always comfortable with that.
no, that's true. Actually, yeah, sometimes that is true. Yeah,
And maybe that's
um,
because our gaze as artists is so observing,
yeah,
as if you look through them.
yeah, that's true. Or if you look, or if you're looking at them, really looking into them. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
people don't. Even I get a bit funny if people are looking straight into my eyes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know what you mean, but I'm so yeah interested in them, and you can get an eye to just they're so beautiful, and if you can get an eye to just shine, then I
yeah,
think you've done your job.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. I agree with you.
but they do gross people out because my sister is grossed out by eyes, close up eyes. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it can have that effect too.
Yeah, yeah. I like it when they start to sparkle,
I love that.
when you have them in a portrait and
Yeah.
wherever you go, they follow you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They keep following you. It is as if
Yeah.
the person on that canvas comes to life.
Yeah.
And I had this with one of the commissions I had of an elderly man, and his daughter said that she says it's unbelievable. Everywhere I go, he looks at me,
Yeah.
and their son had the same. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this is not real, but it is as if the eyes follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's certainly
it's
special.
it's very special. Yeah, yeah,
So I've
and
painted a lot of eyes, big and small, and um, I I feel like I might be done with them for now, but because I've painted these big eyes, now going into a portrait, I just feel like there's there's something just more special about it now, the way I paint them now. So I don't know, it's all just learning, and it's all growing, isn't it? And just
absolutely.
it's a moment in time. I think a painting, it's a moment in time, and you can say I was here then, and now I'm here now, and I
And
can
yeah,
appreciate that. And
yeah, yeah. But that's the love of the process, isn't it?
it is, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it has something with music too. One concert can be great and the next a little less, but you know what you've
Yeah.
done and you know what was great
Yeah.
and you move on.
Yeah, you have to just be pleased with it yourself, don't you? And I know it's hard now because when you put stuff on social media, it's just you want to get likes. You're like, why didn't people like this one? Why didn't they like that one? But you have to just forget that and just think, I really like that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then try and stay within that.
Yeah, social media is not really it's never the one who tells you if you're a good artist or not. There's so much rubbish going on and floating by.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't bother. Yeah. I put there because I think I have something to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So just put it up there if you want. I mean, I don't, lots of people, they'll make a reel in a certain way or they'll do this and that, but you're not working for your art, are you? Just working for the algorithm, and I haven't got time for that.
No. There are so-called algorithm hacks, etc. But no, yeah. I don't care.
No, that's a good way to be as well, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. At one point, I was like, ugh, and then I thought, no, do you know what? No, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do what I think is what good. I'm enjoying.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I come along and I pick you out and I say, hey, do you want to be on my podcast?
You did. I know. I don't know how that you found me, to be fair.
Well, I think the colors
just came up. The colors, yeah. Yes.
Colors. So, and the eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was looking on your website, I noticed that you paint in bright colors. And I don't know if I saw a painting that wasn't in bright colors on your website. It was all so great and so bright. I was like, wow, it's just so nice to look at, I love colors.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. But I think colors are very powerful. They have a vibration too.
Yeah.
And music has also a vibration. And so certain notes, like a G or a C, they have a color. A G is orange, for instance. So, yeah, it's all related.
Yeah.
But you write also that you are mainly interested in flowers and portraits. And do the flowers and the portraits have something in common for you?
Yeah. I think I'd done eyes. I've been there, I've done that. And I was just like, almost like, felt like I was repeating myself. So I thought, no, I've done all I can here for a minute. And I mean, to me, it was an obvious choice. And I think a lot of portrait painters do paint flowers as well that I've seen. I think you think about petals, it's just they're like skin.
Mm-hmm.
And the colours, and I mean, I obviously make the colours a little bit brighter than they are in real life, but that's because I love to do that. And I thought I can really turn it up with flowers as well. And I just wanted to do some beautiful paintings. And that was all I wanted to do. I thought, well, I did it for myself. I thought it's gonna make me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be involved in these colours, and I love mixing the colours, and I love having all the paintbrush. And
so you always work in oil?
Yeah, I do. I have used acrylics, but I think it's just like it's the drying of them. They just dry really fast, don't they? And I love to have, the colours there, mix them up, and it doesn't really work as well for me. No,
I'm the same.
Are you the same with acrylics?
I don't like it.
No,
I've done some portraits in acrylics, but
no. Is it the drying of it?
When I turn around, it's dry. Now I have a wet palette, but that works. But then still, I don't like. What I like in oil is that you get, especially when it dries, and the more it dries, the more depth it gets, and it suddenly starts to speak. It becomes brighter. It becomes more beautiful every day it dries. And that to me is so much more rich than acrylics.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I think the layering them up as well. I'm going to say I don't really do the same each time I do a painting, to be fair. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just do it in one layer. Sometimes I'll do it in 5 layers. Sometimes I'll paint the outline in acrylic to start with and then paint the painting on that. I feel like every time I do a painting, it's different each time. It keeps it interesting, you know.
But that is interesting. I have that too,
Do
even
you
with
do
oil.
that?
Yeah, I have now. I did in the old master style. I started with the underpainting
Okay,
in
yeah.
a grisaille.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do. I have the underdrawing, and then I start with the midtones to the lightest light, and then from the midtones
Yeah.
to the darkest tones,
Yeah.
and then I add colors.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
But sometimes I bluntly start because I want to start.
Yeah, yeah. I have sort of, I sort of start with a plan, and I sort of think, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, prime the canvas, and then I'm gonna start with the darks, and then gradually go lighter, because I hear that's the thing. And I get, I get to the, I've done the darks, and then I'm like, well, no, I'm gonna do my own thing now.
Yeah.
So I sort of get halfway, but I'm
But
trying.
it is interesting. It is really interesting. If you have the gesso on your canvas enough,
Yeah.
and you put a layer of raw umber, for instance.
Yeah.
And then you start with you can sketch the outline, and then you start with the midtone to the whitest, and then to the darkest.
Yes.
It starts to live.
Yeah. See, I've never done it that way, so that might be how I do my next one. Start with a midtone, and then what do you do after that? Go.
I decide. Sometimes I go for the midtones. I look all the midtones, and I go to the whitest.
Yeah.
And then from the midtones, I go to the darkest parts.
Oh, see, that's interesting. Yeah. So I've always started from dark to light, but that is interesting.
Yeah, because if you have the midtones, you can still go to the lightest light.
Yeah, it makes sense if you think about it. Yeah, because you're here and you can go that way or that way instead of starting from here to here.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that idea. I'm
and
going to use that.
It starts to live already.
Yeah.
And sometimes, no, I don't want to put color. Yes, of course you want to put color.
But are you starting in color with these midtones, or are you starting in like sort of a shade of a darker shade? Or
no,
you going color straight
same.
Away?
So I never paint, well, unless I have a commission from someone. But then still, I mean, the portrait you saw on my website, the latest commission.
Yes.
Their shirts were completely different colors, but we discussed the shirts. We had also a lot of fun about it because they wanted something peacock, from the peacock feather.
Yeah.
So the sides of the canvas are green.
Oh, okay.
And so then you have the beautiful blue that goes also to lighter blue.
Yeah.
And they each have a different color in what they wear, and so together it's a unit, because peacock means unity.
Yeah.
And but we had to laugh so hard, because if you find a peacock feather, it can have orange in it, but it can also have other shades in it.
Yeah.
So I painted the skirt of Mark orange, and Shelf and Green had like, no, that's not it. That's not it. I'm not. And I mean, it's possible because they're close to each other.
Yeah.
It's a secondary with a tertiary, but
but it just didn't work. Yeah.
It just didn't work.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Because this is why I love painting, because you can do painting and then you can think, well, I'm going to change it, and then you can just change it completely.
And I love that about oil.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Have you
it's
gone?
never finished.
Sometimes they go a bit too far though for me. And have you thrown a painting away? Do you throw them away? Sometimes I'll throw them away.
No, I scrape it off.
Scrape it off, yeah.
Scrape it
Some,
off. I have a
Sometimes I'll
portrait here
take it
that
off the
is,
canvas, chuck it
yeah,
away.
yeah. Or I take if it's not dried yet, I take a paper or something or
Yeah,
a cloth, and I
yeah,
just wipe it off,
yeah,
and then I
yeah.
start again.
How do
But
you?
then it must be really, really something that I think, no, 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 this is
No,
terrible. I can't do that.
yeah, I do that sometimes. And do you feel disappointed when that happens?
No, I don't feel disappointed. I
No,
have more that I think, okay, next time you have to observe better. I catch myself wanting to be too quick, and I
yeah,
didn't observe enough how the
yeah,
direction was, or yeah. And I have like, something is off here. And then I start to look at how is, okay, you have it like this and it needs to go
yeah.
like that.
That's
So the
interesting.
mouth is not correct because
Mm,
you took the wrong direction.
mm.
And so that's how I constantly check. And yeah.
And that's what I think is interesting about portraits is that you're chasing expression, you're chasing your own expression, um, and you're trying to capture somebody, but also you're chasing the likeness. And that's really interesting to me because it just it's never boring.
It's never boring. No. But for you, you say, yeah, you're chasing the likeness. Yes. But is it for you too that you try to find a deeper sense of beauty within that person? Because this is a shell, but there
Yeah,
is more behind it. Is that also for you a way to look at portraits and paint them,
yeah,
capture that?
yeah, I do, but I don't think I consciously try to do that. I think it just comes out. It just
Mm-hmm.
you know in just my love of painting. I think as well.
Yeah,
It
but
just
then
flows through.
when you are painting, you're in the process, and you painted a beautiful black man. I saw
Yeah,
that portrait,
yeah, he's great.
really
Yeah,
beautiful,
yes,
and
Malcolm. Yeah, he's
I
actually
had,
Grace Jones's bassist, and he lives in Cornwall. Yeah,
oh
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
hmm.
He's great. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
so
great
musician.
portrait. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it did.
but
It turned out good that one. Yeah,
yeah, but then if you look at him and you paint him,
yeah,
do they start to talk to you
yes,
in a way?
yeah. And you can know that one I knew from the start. I was like, this one is, I can see it. I can just see just there's something special here. But some of them you don't really know until the end, and then you're like, oh, or you just have to put it away and then look at it again, and you're like, actually, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, there is a sense of that, and yeah, you just you're so I'm so sort of engrossed in it, and so I'm not thinking about it. I'm just doing it, but I'm feeling it.
Mm-mm. And that's what I love, because in music that's the same.
Yeah, that's true.
You learn things, and then
Yeah,
you know them,
yeah,
and you can let go.
yeah, yeah.
And in the letting go, the magic happens.
That's true. That's true.
Then you get
Yeah.
the audience on their feet. Then you get the chills. Then your portrait starts to speak. You have the same feeling also. That's
Yes.
also what I feel with music.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah, it's something you can't put into words, is it? It's an energy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have it. Yeah. And in our band, we share that energy together. So we look at each other. If the gig's going well, we'll look at each other and we'll share that. Yeah. So
Mm.
that's nice as well. Um, and I do have that. I have that sense. Yeah. When I'm painting. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
great.
wonderful thing.
It's absolutely a wonderful thing. And before we started, we talked a little bit about colors. So you love to paint your subject very colorful. I love that.
I know.
You have yeah, you have also beautiful combinations. Um,
Yeah,
since you're also the musician, is there
yeah.
any relations in the music to music in that the colors and your music?
Um, yes, I think there is actually. It's I think though it's more sort of intuitive really for me because I don't know, I don't play music, I don't know music theory or anything like that. I play it by ear. So I do that intuitively, and I feel like that's the same with color with my paintings as well. Um, I don't know, but like, how do you feel? Because you know music, like you're a trained musician. Um,
Yeah, for me, when I played flute, I have a palette in my hand.
yeah,
So I have the palette and
yeah,
all my colors are on it.
mm,
And that's how I create
yeah,
the music
wow,
and I can tell the story.
yeah,
And now I do it with painting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a really good way of putting it, actually. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, it it is because it's light and shade, isn't it? Music, and as is painting. You know, so some bits are quiet and some bits are more loud, and that's what makes it interesting. Um, and some bits are clear, like the eyes, like the focal point, and some bits are just on the edges as
Mm.
well. So yeah, it's very very similar. Yeah, to
And I
me.
can imagine also because you play in a band
Yes.
and you create the color also together in the
Yeah.
harmony. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
so that's rich.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a feeling, I think, as well. It's more than anything, it's a feeling. And that's how I approach music, and that is definitely how I approach um, art as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as a feeling, you know.
Yeah, it is a feeling. And I think it's a feeling we need.
Mm,
And especially in the world as it is now, we need to give people a good feeling, a feeling of happiness. And
yeah,
I think colors can do that.
yeah, and that's sort of why, in a way, that I did start painting flowers because I did just want to make something just beautiful that I could have made, that I could
Mm.
produce,
Yeah.
and it just feels so good. I was in the garage today and I was working with colors and I was working with bright purple and pink. Bright purple and pink seem to be colors that I love, which is funny because I only wear black. But
That's a musician.
yeah, I loved it. And one of my paintings today went wrong, and I think I might chuck it away, but I might not. And I didn't care really because I done what I wanted to do, and it didn't work out that time, and it doesn't matter. I do another one. It's all good, you know.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. And if I
Yeah.
have to, I'll. And it makes you more. It makes me more like determined to do something. Like it's almost like you you experiment, and it doesn't go quite right, and then that's okay. But the next one is always really good after the one that's gone wrong. So whenever one goes wrong, I think, oh, actually no, that might be good because I
Mm-hmm.
might be do a really good one next time.
Yeah. And how do you feel then that there is beauty in the accident also?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, there is. Yeah, a lot of stuff that I do definitely happens by accident. A lot of it's planned, to be fair, and a lot of but it's just a mixture. And
Mm.
sometimes I'll think, oh, I just want to put this color here, I just want to put that color there, or sometimes I'll have it planned out on a photograph, and I'll go into like Procreate or something, and I'll make the colors as I want them, and I'll paint it that way. But they always turn out a little bit different. which is lovely.
That is lovely. Exactly. Nothing is the same. Look at two flowers on the same plant.
Yeah.
They're not exactly the same.
No, that's true. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah. But you know, you never know. I might go back into the garage later and salvage the painting. That's the thing, you know. You can always just stop, have a little think about it, and then.
Yeah, well, what I do when I paint a portrait and it doesn't go the way I want it, or I see there is something not adding up, there's something wrong. Well, what's wrong? But there's something wrong. Then I put it away for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it.
No.
So it's gone. Yeah. It's standing with the back to me.
Yeah.
And then at one point I go back and now I see it.
Yeah. That is hard to do, isn't it? It's hard to stop and put it away, because for me, I just want to fix it. I just want to make it sort of right before I put it away, you know. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can just, you know, keep going wrong.
Yeah, it's really sometimes it's best just to put it away for a while, just a few weeks.
Yeah.
Do something else, turn it around and have, now I see it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, you paint adventures.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose it's just, it's my own adventures, me becoming a painter, just learning and I don't know, just being interested, experimenting, just keeping myself, you know.
But is every flower, every petal, every portrait an adventure for you?
Yeah. 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 And if it isn't, I'll make it into one. So do you know what I mean? If I'm like, I don't like this, or this looks not boring, but if it looks not as interesting as I want it to look, I will definitely change it, rethink it. Yeah, I do make I make them all into an adventure.
That's great, because what then are the stories your portrait tell? What are the stories that you want to convey when you paint portraits? Like the man you did, that commission, that beautiful black portrait.
I think I just want to, I guess you just want to get a sense of self, get a sense of the person, and a sense of like the fragility behind them and the strength. So like, I love people. People are so complicated, you know, and it's trying to capture all of that in a painting, really. And they're so beautiful as well. So it's just trying to capture people's spirit, I think, you know.
Yes, I know.
I did a painting, I'm doing a painting, and of a lady I know, and somebody else messaged me, because I put a little story up, and someone else messaged me, and she said about the painting, that's strength and vulnerability right there. And I thought, yeah, that's really, thank you for saying that, because, you know, that's what I'm trying to capture, you know, like what's inside.
Exactly what's inside. And that's our power. We can do that. And we can do that as musicians, bring that out in the audience, and we can do it with paint.
I think that, that's right. And, you know, it makes people, sometimes paintings, when they see a painting of themselves, especially, it makes them emotional, you know, and music as well, obviously, is the same. So it's just really great to be able to, like, to be on this journey that you can, like, affect somebody like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. But that is, I've tried to paint more women, and I found out that a lot of women do not want their own portrait painted.
Yeah. Do you think so?
Do you have that?
Do you know, actually, it is funny because well, I'm doing like, it's probably going to take me years, but I am doing this, the 100 heads challenge. Have you done that? Have you heard of it?
No, no.
It's just a challenge where you set for yourself. I think it's supposed to be something like 100 heads in 100 days or something. I don't know, but I've just set it with no time limit. So you paint 100 heads, and it's just a challenge that you set yourself, and you obviously get better at painting by painting 100 heads. And so I put a little thing out to say for people to send me photographs, and yeah, it was 75% men that sent them. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But I love painting women, actually, because I think you can get more of that vulnerability, and obviously, like, being a woman, you understand as well a bit more. Yeah, but I've painted, men and women, and my children, and I basically, I'm just at the point when I just want to paint as much as I can all the time. And I think I might run into soon, because it's been what's the year, 2020? It's been like 4 years since I started doing it. I feel like I might run into burnout soon, but I haven't yet. But I keep thinking of new things. So I sometimes do draw as well. So drawing. So once I got the color pencils involved, I was good. I was good to go. But just with the pencil, I was like, I'm not feeling this. So I've done some self portraits with the color pencil, and just.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah,
that wasn't that selected in the first round for the Royal Society of Portrait Artists.
No, that was one of my paintings, actually. Yeah, self-portrait, big oil painting. Yeah, that was nice. No, that wasn't. But I do enjoy doing it, and also I've started to get. Do you know Posca pens? Do you use Posca
What's
pens?
that?
Posca pens are like, well, the Posca's the brand, but they're like acrylic pens. So these pens are like really bright. They're great. And so I started to draw. I don't know if you've seen any of these, but there's some of them on my Instagram. And I started to draw when I was bored in the evening. After the children are in bed, I started to draw over the prints that I had some prints done of my work, my eyes.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And I started to draw over them with the Posca pens, just making patterns and stuff and colors, and that's just something I'm experimenting with, and I can do that all day long, really. It's just something nice to do in the evening, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I do. I challenge myself I always challenge myself, but I'm still in my pencil challenge.
Okay. So what's that?
Pencil is not my thing.
Yeah.
I was really fighting with pencils, but no, I've done some things.
I saw like, some of them. Yeah.
I also work on. I have a little clay torso. And I made that as a sketch.
Yeah.
I've also a big one, but then it's really good to put that in front of me and to turn it and to have light on it from different directions, because then you really start to look, and you can do the side size or whatever, and really start to observe and sketch that. I've done a series of self-portraits, and I started with weird things like half of my head or like this.
Yeah.
I had a hoodie and I put it like that. And I was just about to see myself.
Yeah. I really, yeah.
Things like that. Just be crazy.
Yeah.
To get a feel of the pencil. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you still doing the pencil drawings now then?
Yeah, but I'm doing it with dogs at the moment.
Oh wow. I I I like drawing in pencil, but I do find it I always want to get out a colour pencil instead.
Mm.
I don't like the way that the pencil just smudges around the place. That's something that annoys me. That's why I like a colour pencil.
Mm-hmm. No, no, yeah, I've since I started to think about a pencil as it is, as if it is a brush, because
Mm,
I see,
yeah,
I don't think in lines.
yeah.
I think in shapes.
Okay, yeah,
So then I focus on again the values.
yeah, yeah,
That's how I was trained anyway, and that works.
yeah,
That
yeah.
works. And
That's a
build
good
it up
idea.
in layers, and do the uh, don't start.
No, don't go into. Yeah, that's a good idea actually, to think of it as a paintbrush. That's what I started to do with the Posca pens, and then I found that it just all made sense after that. So I'm going to do that with a pencil. Yeah, think of it as a paintbrush. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's not as good as a
yeah.
paintbrush.
Nah, it isn't. But it's good to challenge yourself
Yeah.
and to get all the techniques done. Yeah. Um, yeah, where can people find you?
Well, I have a website, and that's www.louisefowlerart.co.uk. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and that's about it, I think.
Great. I will put it in the notes and
Thank
people
you.
can go to you. I would highly recommend visiting your Instagram. Look at all the colors that come by of eyes and flowers and beautiful portraits. Also, your children. Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
have a
Yeah,
daughter. She looks like you.
yeah, yeah. I know. Lots of people say that.
So, yeah. Did she like to sit for you or not?
She actually, no, they won't sit still because they're children. But I had a photograph of her which I worked from.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find those portraits just they were happened. They're some of the easiest ones that I've done, to be fair, because I suppose I'm so used to looking at their faces. I probably look at them more than I look at myself, you know. So I found them. Yeah, I just found them. They just flowed, and they flowed right straight away, which is lovely.
That's because you know them best.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you so much for being with me,
Thank
finally.
you. Thank
Thank you for
you.
the conversation.
Nice to meet you in person finally.